The Continuum Approach for Children: Inclusion, Early Agency, and Complementary Pathways. The Continuum Approach understands musical learning in childhood not as a sequence of graded achievements, but as an open field of sound that a child may enter, explore, and return to according to their own nervous system, curiosity, and capacity. It is designed from the outset for the widest possible range of abilities and needs, including children with special educational needs, sensory processing differences, neurodivergence, physical or communication variations, and those whose learning simply does not fit linear or performance-driven models. The same material, an open string, a sustained drone, a simple gestural score, a shared pulse, can hold equal musical truth for a child encountering sound for the first time and for one already fluent in another tradition. Progress is measured by clarity of engagement, comfort, and the growth of agency rather than by speed or comparison. At the heart of this inclusivity is emotional safety. Continuum begins by establishing conditions in which pressure is replaced by permission. Children are not required to prove readiness, produce correct notes on demand, or move at a uniform pace. Instead, they are invited into listening, into the physical relationship with the instrument or with their own body as a sound maker, and into the freedom to respond in ways that feel coherent to them. For many children with special educational needs, this removal of external evaluative demand is transformative. Sensory overload is reduced, executive load is lightened, the threat of failure is diminished. The nervous system is freer to organize itself around resonance rather than around compliance. Visual scores, line drawings, and image-based invitations further support learners for whom traditional notation feels dense or overwhelming, while still remaining available to those who thrive with conventional symbols. Where many methods postpone composition, improvisation, and deep earwork until technical foundations are judged secure, Continuum places these capacities at the beginning. Composition is treated as an early and natural behavior. The child decides, chooses, shapes, and responds. Ear skills develop through sustained attention to the instrument's own harmonics, to drones, to the felt difference between beating and settled resonance, and to the simple act of matching sound with sound. Physical embodiment is equally primary. The child learns the instrument through the body, through the weight of the bow, the contact of fingers, the breath that supports tone, and the larger movements that organize the whole self in relation to the instrument. Concepts such as the orbit, circular, continuous pathways of movement around or with the instrument, help children inhabit space, find balance, and experience sound as something that travels and returns. Dance, free movement, and body percussion are not later enrichments but foundational languages. They train pulse, phrasing, dynamic contrast, and ensemble awareness through the whole body before those same qualities are asked of the hands alone. In this way, the child builds a rich internal map of musical experience that later technical work can inhabit rather than invent from scratch. This early emphasis does not isolate Continuum from other approaches. On the contrary, the framework is explicitly designed to complement existing methods and to function equally well as a primary developmental pathway. Its growing library of tools, drones, single-note explorations, visual and gestural scores, movement patterns, body percussion sequences, and relational tuning practices can be introduced alongside Suzuki repertoire, Kodali solfège, Orff processes, traditional technical studies, or any other structured curriculum. Because Continuum privileges listening, resonance, and agency over rigid sequence, these tools integrate without conflict. A child working through graded exam pieces can still spend time with open string resonance or simple compositional decisions. A child following a method that delays improvisation can be given safe, low-stakes opportunities to shape sound from the first lessons. The tools remain essential to the Continuum process, yet remain portable. They support, deepen, and humanize whatever parallel pathway a child is traveling. For teachers, this dual capacity is practical. Continuum can serve as the main channel for young learners whose needs or temperaments are poorly served by hierarchical models, providing a coherent, pressure-free architecture in which technique, creativity, and embodiment grow together. At the same time, it offers a set of adaptable resources that any teacher can draw upon to increase safety, sensory accessibility, and creative agency within an existing method. The same principle that serves a neurotypical child, small steps, listening first, permission to return, serves the child with sensory sensitivities, attention differences, or physical variations with particular clarity. The approach does not require the child to adapt to a fixed sequence. The sequence adapts to the child. In practice, the continuum classroom or studio becomes a place of multiple simultaneous pathways. One child may be exploring a single pitch through movement and voice. Another may be combining body percussion with a simple composed gesture. A third may be matching an open string to a drone, while a peer experiments with visual line scores. All are engaged in authentic musical behavior. All are building the neural and emotional foundations that support later refinement. The teacher's role is less that of sequential instructor than of careful companion, noticing when safety is present, when curiosity leads, and when a small adjustment of material or pacing allows deeper contact. The result is a form of musical education that does not postpone the most human aspects of music making until after the basics are mastered. Composition, listening, embodiment, movement, and creative decision-making are the basics. Technique grows inside them rather than preceding them. For children of every ability, this ordering restores dignity and possibility. It allows those who might otherwise be excluded by rigid expectations to remain inside the field of sound, and it gives every child, regardless of label or starting point, an early experience of musical agency that can accompany them across a lifetime. Continuum does not replace other methods. It enlarges the ground on which they can stand, ensuring that the first experiences of music are characterized by resonance, safety, and the quiet freedom to belong. From the book, The Continuum Approach to Music, Foundations, a Pedagogical Framework for Musical Learning by Sarnia de la Maré FRSA.